to day 33 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 33 already. But that does not mean that it is too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join. So if you would like to join the challenge, stick around. I'm going to explain a little bit more about what the challenge is, how it works, why we're doing it, and how you can participate. But if you don't want to participate in the challenge, that's fine. You can just do this workout with me. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you want to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you are interested in the challenge, there is a playlist for this challenge that contains all of the workouts in chronological order. I'm going to link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it again at the very end of the video just to make sure you can't miss it. So click on the link, save the playlist. Even if you're not sure whether or not you want to join the challenge, save the playlist so that when and if you do decide to join, you have all of the workouts readily available to you. But just begin by watching that day 1 video. If you watch the video that I shared for day 1 of the challenge, of course that video contains our day 1 workout. But before we did the workout, I took a long time to explain everything there is to know about this challenge. What it is exactly, how it works, how you can participate, why we're doing it, and where to begin. I also went over your correct form for how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups properly so that you reduce your risk of injury. And I spent a long time going over tons of beginner modifications that I promise you can do. So even if you are an absolute beginner and you have never done a workout before in your entire life and you don't think you can do squats, or you don't think you can do push-ups, yes, you can. Watch that day 1 video. Give me a chance to convince you that you can do this challenge with me. And then once you have watched the video for day 1 and you decide that you want to go ahead and commit to the challenge, you have a couple of options. First of all, again, you can just jump in today and just do like the last week or so of the challenge with me. That's fine. If you are doing it, it's your challenge. So you do it in whatever way works for you. But if you do want to go back to the beginning and start on day 1 of the challenge, that is recommended. That's how I wrote the challenge. That's how I designed the challenge. That's how I'm doing the challenge. So if you want to start on day 1, just make sure that you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. Any random Wednesday will do. As long as you start with that day 1 workout on a Wednesday, all you have to do is follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place. I have made it super easy to follow along. But of course, if you have any questions about the challenge and how it works, or if you need any further help, I am right here, okay? So I'm doing the challenge right along with you every single day. But I'm not just working out with you every day, I am also here to help so I can answer questions, I can provide support and encouragement, I can help motivate you and support you. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if you need help. So this is my 6th year in a row doing the challenge, and this year I am going out of my way to make sure that the challenge is accessible for beginners. So if you are a beginner, you're in the right place. Please stick around. If you are not a beginner, then the workouts we're doing this year may not challenge you very much, so you may want to follow along with last year's playlist. Last year was my 5th year in a row doing the challenge. It was the exact same challenge. We were doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day, every single day except Sundays for 40 days. But the workouts we were doing last year were much more advanced. They were much more intense. They were generally a lot longer because we were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps. And we were generally doing more challenging variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We were adding weight to a lot of the workouts. And most days I was incorporating at least about 20 minutes or so of moderate paced cardio right into the workout. So if you are more advanced and you want workouts that are really going to challenge you, go ahead and save the playlist from last year. I will link that playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of the video. So if you're more advanced and you want longer, tougher workouts, save that playlist from last year, but save this playlist also. The playlist from this year is going to be these are going to be really good options for you to have, the workouts that we're doing this year, because even though they're much shorter and much simpler, and I'm focusing on beginners this year, so I'm really trying not to use any fitness equipment whatsoever. That means that we're really focusing on body weight exercises this year. So I think that these short, simple body weight workouts that we're doing this year, that if you're in great shape, you can get most of these workouts finished in under 10 minutes. I think that's a great option for you to have, even if you're more advanced and you're stronger and you're capable of doing the longer, more difficult workouts that we did last year. If there's a day that you're extremely pressed for time, one of these short little workouts is perfect. Or if you're traveling, maybe you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb and you don't have access to fitness equipment, then you can choose one of these short, simple body weight workouts. Or if you just want to take your workout to the park today or the beach or the hiking trail and you don't feel like lugging dumbbells or a kettlebell or a big heavy sandbag or something like that with you, these workouts that we're doing this year can also be a great warm-up. So if you do have something planned today, like a long hike or a run or a long bike ride, for example, but you still want to get your reps done, you can use one of these short little bodyweight workouts that we're doing this year for the challenge as a warm-up for your hike or for your run. So definitely save both playlists, and then you can just kind of bounce back and forth between the two playlists, or you can bounce around within one playlist or the other. I'm presenting this challenge in a very orderly fashion, right? I'm sharing a new workout with you every day, and the workouts are labeled days 1 through 40. And that's how I'm doing the challenge. I'm going in order, starting at day 1, going through day 40. But again, if you make the commitment to do it, then it becomes your challenge. So you do it in whatever way works for you. You don't have to go in order. It doesn't matter what workout you do each day, as long as you're getting your reps done. So you can choose any of the workouts from either of the two playlists, or you can choose some other workout that just happens to contain at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups. You can write your own workout, that's great. Or if you don't have time, or you just don't feel like doing a structured workout, you don't have to do a workout per se. You can just spread out your reps randomly throughout the day. So if you're pressed for time and you don't want to take 10 or 15 or 20 minutes to do an actual workout, or if it's just too difficult for you to get all of your reps done at the same time, just break them up. You could get up in the morning and first thing do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. It can be any variation of those 4 exercises that you want. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the course of your day. So you could do the same thing again after lunch. You could do it again after you get home from work, and then once more before bed. There's your 160 reps. So as long as you're getting your reps done every day, it doesn't matter how you do them. It doesn't matter what variations of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups you do, as long as you're getting your reps done. Now, if you are a super duper beginner and it's too intimidating to commit to doing the challenge for 40 days, or it seems like too big of an obstacle to commit to doing 160 reps every day, then just modify, okay? Make whatever adjustments and changes you need to make it work for you. I have a few people doing the challenge, but they're just doing fewer reps of everything every day, and that's great. So if you cannot commit to doing 40 reps of everything every day, commit to doing 30 reps, or 20 reps, or 15, or 10. If you can't commit to doing all 40 days of the challenge, maybe commit to doing the first 20 days of the challenge, or the last 20 days of the challenge. If you can't commit to 6 workouts a week with me, we're working on every Monday through Saturday, so maybe you could commit to working out 3 days a week with me. Maybe you could do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of every week. All right, so again, if you're doing it, it's your challenge. Do it in whatever way works for you. And remember, it's always better to do something than nothing. So if you see this challenge and you think it's too many reps, it's too many days, I can't do it, then instead of saying, well, then I can't do the challenge at all, just reframe that and think, well, I can't do 160 reps every day, so what can I do? Maybe I can do 80 reps a day. I can't do 40 days of the challenge, but what can I do? Maybe I can commit to doing 20 days. Okay, so be realistic with yourself and decide to what degree you are capable of participating, and then make the commitment and participate to whatever degree you are able, okay? And remember that I am right here to help. So again, if you have any questions about the challenge, how it works, why we're doing it, who's Brutus, why are we slapping him, how you can participate, where to begin. If you have questions about how to do squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups, if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided in that day one video, or beyond what I'm providing in the individual workouts, then I'm right here to help. So please just ask, okay? But that's how the challenge works. Now let's go ahead and get into what we're doing for today's workout. So this format is going to be a little bit different. This workout is going to take exactly 15 minutes, okay? So what we're doing really is a short little circuit of squats, lunges, and abs. And this is an AMRAP, which stands for as many rounds as possible, AMRAP, but it's also a time challenge kind of meshed together. So for our squats, lunges, and abs, that's our little circuit of 3 exercises, and we're going to cycle through those exercises. We're going to complete that short little circuit as many times as we can during our countdown. But before we do that, there's a buy-in. So we're going to set our timer to count down 15 minutes, and then we're going to start with our push-ups. We're going to do all 40 push-ups before we move on to our squats, lunges, and abs. So the longer it takes you to complete your 40 push-ups, the less time you will have to complete your squats, lunges, and abs, as many rounds of squats, lunges, and abs as you can, okay? So you want to make it your goal to complete your push-ups as quickly as you can, and then leave yourself as much time of that 15 minutes to complete as many rounds as possible of squats, lunges, and abs, okay? So usually I show you the exercises first and then explain the format, but that's the format, okay? So it might sound confusing, but remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the workout with you, so watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear about the format, or if there's something about the format that's not going to work for you and you need help making adjustments, then I'm right here to help, so please just ask. But that's our format. So we're starting with a buy-in, we're setting our timer to count down 15 minutes, starting with a buy-in, 40 push-ups, and then with the remainder of the 15 minutes, after we've completed all of our push-ups, we're going to do our short little circuit of squats, lunges, and abs as many times as we can before time is up. Okay, so the whole workout is going to take exactly 15 minutes. And all you need to do to complete your requirement for the challenge is finish your push-ups and then complete just 1 round of our little circuit, okay? As long as you get through 1 round of the circuit, you've gotten all your reps done for the day. And then any additional rounds of the circuit that you complete is gravy on top of that, okay? So let's start by going over our little squats, lunges, and abs circuit. For squats, we're doing mini squats. We have done these before, but it's been a minute. So with any squat variation, remember that you want to begin by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets. So that means your shoulders are back and down. So it's going to feel like you're pinching your shoulder blades together behind you, and make sure your shoulders are not up here by your ears. Down, back, okay? So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pockets. That's also going to help you keep your chest lifted nice and high. Make sure you maintain this feeling of your chest being lifted the entire time, okay? And then you're just going to really tighten up your abs. Make sure your entire core is engaged. But if you imagine that someone's about to come along and punch you in the stomach as hard as they can, think about what it would feel like to brace for that impact. That's how tight your abs should be, okay? Really engage those abs. And then, before you think about squatting, I want you to first think about hinging at the hips, as though you are trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty, okay? Because if you think about just squatting straight down, what's going to tend to happen is that your knees are going to be over your toes, and we don't want that. So instead, I want you to think about hinging at the hips, pushing that booty back, and now do you see how all of my weight is in my heels? I can actually pick up my toes. So try to touch the wall behind you with your booty, and at the same time, remember you're keeping your chest lifted nice and high. So it's like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest, elongating your spine, and that's going to help you keep your back flat. Remember, with squats and with lunges, remember these two things, okay? It should be your mantra when you're doing these slap workouts. Flat back, weight in the heels, okay? So you want your back flat and your weight in the heels. So you're pushing your booty back, keeping your chest lifted high, spine is nice and elongated. So your back is flat, it's not rounded like this, and your weight is in your heels. It's not forward like this with your knees tracking over your toes. Okay, so from this position is where you can go ahead and sink down into your squat. Do your best to see if you can at least get your thighs parallel to the ground. You may not be there yet, that's fine, it's a goal, okay? You have your goal and you have your objective. Your goal is to try to get your thighs parallel to the ground. But you may not reach that goal today, you may not reach it by the end of the challenge, you may not reach it until the end of summer or until next year. But that's what you're working towards. Your objective, flat back, weight in the heels. So the objective is always to mind your form and do the exercise properly, okay? So don't push your body into doing something it's not ready to do. Your goal is to get your thighs parallel to the ground, but not at the expense of your form. So don't push it. Just know that that's what you're working towards. As long as your back is flat and your weight is in your heels, then it's fine if you can only squat this deep. This is your squat. Work to your own level, okay? But once you have come down into the squat as low as you're going to come, for a regular air squat, what you would do now is press your heels into the ground to stand, really actively pressing the ground away from you with your heels so that you activate all of the muscles in your feet, through your legs, your quads, especially your glutes. Of course, your abs are already super strong and tight and engaged. But what we're going to do today is these little mini squat pulses. So it's the same idea. You're pressing your heels into the ground and you're activating all of these muscles, but you're not going to stand all the way up and straighten your legs and return to your starting position. You're just gonna come up about halfway and then you're gonna sink back down into your squat. So we're just gonna pulse, okay? So let's put it all together. Shoulders back and down. You're tucking your shoulder blades into your back pocket. Your chest is lifted nice and high. You're gonna tighten up your abs, push your booty back so that you're hinging at the hips, keeping that chest lifted high like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest, and then with your back flat and the weight in your heels, you're gonna sink down into your squat, and then you're gonna press your heels into the ground, pushing the ground away with your heels, and you're gonna come up about halfway. And then you're gonna go right back down into another squat. So squat, and then come up halfway. Squat and pulse. So you're right here and you're just pulsing. Each pulse is 1 rep. So you're gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, okay? So shoulders back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight, push the booty back. Keep the back flat and the weight in the heels, sink into your squat, press your heels into the ground, come up halfway, and then back down. Just staying here and pulsing, okay? If the pulses are too difficult, just do air squats, okay? Stand all the way back up. So shoulders back and down, chest is high, abs are tight, push the booty back, back flat, weight in the heels, sink down into your squat, then press the ground away to stand. That's 1, 2, 3, okay? It's a little bit easier. It'll go slower, but it's a little bit easier. So if you just need to do air squats, that's fine. Remember that you can, if you need to hold on to something for support, you can use a chair or a bar stool or the arm of your couch, your dining room table, kitchen counter, a plyo box would be ideal, a park bench, okay? So any kind of elevated surface will work if you need to hold on to something for support. Just make sure that whatever you are using for support is strong enough to hold your entire body weight. So even if you're just lightly touching your elevated surface to help you a little bit and you're not putting a lot of weight on it, it's there to assist you. So in the event that you lose your balance or something and you need to lean more heavily on your elevated surface, you want to make sure that it is strong enough to support your entire body weight. okay? You also want to make sure that whatever you're using is sturdy. So what I mean by that is you don't want to use something like a folding chair that when you put weight on it, it might fold up on you. You want to use something that's a good quality and well made and in decent condition so that when you put weight on it, it's not going to fold up, it's not going to collapse or break on you. And you want to make sure that your elevated surface is stable, meaning that it can't slide from underneath you. So for example, when I am working out in my living room, I have wood floors. I also have wood chairs in my dining room. So when I need to grab a dining room chair for one of my workouts, the wood chair on the wood floor can slide very easily. So what I do is I place my chair on top of an exercise mat or a yoga mat so that it stays put. So that if you need to lean on something for support, when you lean on it, it can't slide from underneath you. So if you have an exercise mat or a yoga mat, if you're using something like a chair or a bar stool, please make sure that you place that on top of your mat. Of course, if you're using something like your kitchen counter, that's not going anywhere. So that's already plenty stable. But if you're using something like a chair or a bar stool, please make sure that you take precautions so that it can't slide from underneath you. All right, but as long as you have something that is strong enough to support your body weight, sturdy enough that it won't collapse or break or fold up on you when you put weight on it, and stable enough so that it can't slide from underneath you, then any number of elevated surfaces will work. So just get creative and use what you've got. But also, of course, make sure that you're using your common sense, okay? Be smart, be safe. You can also squat into a chair. I've shown you that modification plenty of times, but if you haven't seen it, if you're new to the challenge and you haven't seen that modification and you need to see it, please just ask. I'm more than happy to share that with you. I think most beginners can manage an air squat. And if you're a beginner, again, you may need to shorten up your range of motion and not sink quite as deep into the squat, and you may need to hold on to a strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support. But if even that is too difficult for you and you need to see an easier modification, please just ask. I'm happy to show that to you. But that's my squat variation. I'm doing mini squats, mini squat pulses. Now for my lunge variation, I'm doing side jump lunges. So if you can't jump, don't worry, you can eliminate the jump. If you have really bad knees or cranky downstairs neighbors and you need something that's completely impact-free, you can just do any side lunge variation you want, or really any lunge variation you want. It doesn't even have to be side lunges. Remember, that's one of the really beautiful things about this challenge is that on any given day, if you like the workout I'm doing and you want to work out along with the video, but there's one exercise that you can't do for whatever reason, you can always just swap it out with a different variation of that exercise. So if the squat variation I'm doing today doesn't work for you, you can substitute with any squat variation you want. If side jump lunges don't work for you, you can substitute with any other lunge variation you want. It doesn't have to be a side lunge. It could be a dragon lunge or a curtsy lunge. It can be a forward lunge, reverse lunge, okay? Anything that works for you. But I'm doing side jump lunges. So with your lunges, same as with squats, remember we start by tucking our shoulder blades into our back pockets. You have your same two little bullet points, flat back, weight in the heels. So how do we achieve our flat back? We achieve our flat back by tucking our shoulder blades into our pockets so that our shoulders are back and down and our chest is lifted nice and high. We achieve our flat back by tightening up our abs, and we achieve our flat back by pushing our booty back, like we're trying to touch the wall behind us with our booty, and by keeping the weight in our heels. Okay, so flat back, weight in the heels. So for your side lunge position, what that looks like is that you're going to have one knee bent and the other foot out to the side. So your weight, obviously my weight is over this leg, so my weight is in this heel. So that means I'm pushing my booty back, like I'm trying to touch this gate behind me with my booty, okay? So shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are tight. I'm going to lunge to the side, step to the side, pushing my booty back, keeping that chest lifted high, spine is nice and elongated. So I'm trying to touch the wall behind me with my booty, at the same time trying to touch the wall in front of me with my chest, so that my back is not rounded like this. Shoulder blades tucked into the back pocket, okay? Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, pushing the booty back. My weight is in this heel. So that is our starting position for the lunges. So again, don't push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do. When I do my side jump lunges, I like to come all the way down and tap the ground in front of my foot. But if the only way that you can reach the ground is by rounding your back, then don't worry about tapping the ground. It's more important, okay? Your goal may be to touch the ground, but you may not be there yet, right? So what's more important? Your objective. Your objective is flat back, weight in the heels. So you're going to sink as deep into that lunge as you can without rounding your back, without sacrificing your form, and without pushing your body into doing something it's not ready to do. So if you can only tap your knee, then fine, be here. It's always fine to shorten up your range of motion, okay? So if you can't lunge really low, then you can lunge here. And if you can't step out really wide, then you can step here, okay? Shorten up your range of motion if you're a beginner. Hold on to something strong, sturdy, and stable for support if you're a beginner. All right, so from my starting position, all I'm going to do is jump and switch the position of my feet. So I'm in a side lunge. This leg is extended to the side, this knee is bent. I'm going to jump and switch my legs so that now I'm in a side lunge on the opposite side. This knee is bent, the opposite leg is straight. And that's it, that's the whole exercise. So it's actually a really simple exercise. Starting in your side lunge position, just jump and switch the position of your feet. That's 1 rep. Jump and switch the legs, that's 2, 3, 4. So for just a split second, right here, both of my feet are off of the ground. So I'm doing a little jump when I switch my legs. If you can't jump, you have a couple of options. You can just step the feet one at a time. So if you're here, just in your starting position, you can just step your outside foot in and then step the other foot to the opposite side. And as you do that, bend this knee and sink down into your lunge. Remembering to keep your back flat and your weight in your heels. And that's 1 rep. And then just step this foot in, step the other foot out, bend the knee and lunge. Step, step, lunge. Outside foot comes in, step the other foot out, and lunge. So you'll notice that my weight is always here in the center. My body is always centered. So I'm not stepping out to the side and then stepping in and then stepping over to the other side. I'm always in the middle of my mat, right? So I'm just stepping 1 foot out and I'm keeping the foot that's here, that stayed still. That's actually my lunging leg when I'm down in this position, okay? And then I'm stepping that foot in, but I'm staying right here. So I'm not gonna step to the side, I'm staying right here, and I'm just stepping the other foot out to the side, and I'm gonna stay right where I am. My weight's gonna stay always over this foot that's in the center of my mat, okay? Whether you're jumping or stepping. So you're really just stepping 1 foot out at a time. And every time you do that, you're bending the knee of the foot that's in the center of the mat, the foot that's like underneath you. Make sense? That makes sense. All right, so if that is too difficult, remember again that you can shorten up your range of motion. So you can take a short step and you can sink just a little bit into your lunge. You don't have to come so low, okay? So that's your first modification. It's just simply shortening up your range of motion. And then if that is still too difficult for you, you can hold on to a strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support. And you can always just do side to side lunges. I think those might be a little easier. So if you're holding on to your strong, sturdy, stable chair or bar stool or dining room table or your kitchen counter or the arm of your couch, you can just have your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart and keep them planted, so that you don't have to worry about switching the feet and you don't have to get confused about, do I step this way or which leg is straight, which knee is bent. If you're an absolute beginner and it's too confusing to remember all that, then just start in this position with your feet wider than your shoulders. Hold on to your strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support, and you can just lunge side to side, okay? So chest high, chest lifted high, shoulders are back and down, abs are tight. Pushing your booty back. Your weight is always over your lunging heel, okay? That is an easier lunge modification. So as long as you're keeping your back flat and you're weighting your heel, remember it doesn't matter how low you can go for your lunge, okay? So work to your own level. If that is still too difficult for you and you're completely stumped and you need a lunge variation that you can do, please just ask. I promise we can find something that you can do, but I really think that the side to side lunges, shortening up the range of motion, and holding on to something for support is something that really everyone can do. All right, so choose whatever lunge variation works for you. I'm doing side jump lunges. So I'm gonna lunge, jump, and switch the position of my legs like this, okay? That's my lunge variation. So last is abs, the last of our little circuit. And we still have to get to push-ups. So I'm just doing bicycles, super simple. I always feel like this exercise is kind of like old school. I don't know if people still do it, but it used to be popular. So all you're going to do is start down here on your mat, on your back, and you're going to clasp your hands together behind your head. You're going to lift your shoulder blades up off the mat, lift your feet up off the mat. You're going to bend one knee in, tucking your knee towards your chest. And as you do that, you're going to twist your body thoracically, bringing your opposite elbow to meet the knee. And then you're going to switch the legs. So the leg that's bent is going to straighten. The leg that's straight is going to bend. And you're going to tuck this opposite knee into your chest. And as you do that, you're going to twist your body thoracically and tap your knee with the opposite elbow, okay? Super simple. So it's just like you're riding a bicycle with your feet, and as you do that, you're always twisting your body thoracically, bringing opposite knee to elbow. That's bicycles, okay? So I think we already pretty much know how to do bicycles. Like I said, it's a really simple exercise, and I think a really common ab exercise. I'm counting each tap, each knee tap as one rep. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. If you're more advanced or you just have really, really strong abs, or you just feel like torturing yourself today, you can double count them, saying that each 2 twists is 1 rep. That's up to you, but I'm going to be counting each twist as 1 rep. The whole point of this little circuit is that, to me, these are the versions of squats, lunges, and abs that I can get through the quickest, because my goal is to complete this circuit as many times as I can. So I don't want each time through the circuit to take a long time. I want to complete the circuit as quickly as I can so that I can try to complete as many rounds of the circuit as I can, okay? So I'm counting each crunch as 1 rep. So if bicycles don't work for you, remember that you can do any ab exercise you want, any crunch variation you want, any sit-up variation you want, any ab exercise at all that you want. So Russian twists is a good option because that's something that you can do pretty quickly, okay? So that might be an alternative. Twist and tap, twist and tap. Remember that it's easier if your heels are on the mat. So if you're a beginner, you can have your heels on the mat, and you can shorten up your range of motion if you need to. So if you can't come all the way around and tap the mat, just come as close as you can. The whole point is that you're twisting your body thoracically. So we're working a lot of the same muscles. It's not quite the same exercise, but it's a little bit easier than the bicycles, and it would be a good substitution because it's similar in certain ways, and it's something that you can complete all 40 reps of pretty quickly. Okay, so if you want to do Russian twists instead, that's fine. If you want to increase the difficulty of your Russian twists, you can have your heels elevated while you twist and tap. Okay, so that's a good option. If you want to do something more similar to the bicycles, but it's too difficult to have your shoulder blades elevated off the mat, you can have your you can have your back flat on the mat, and you can just maybe do your bicycles just with the legs, or you can do like reverse crunches, okay? Any ab exercise you want to do is fine. So just pick whatever works for you. But I'm going to be doing bicycles. So that's my little circuit, all right? So that's squats, lunges, and abs. But before we get to that little circuit, we have to do our push-ups. So I'm going to be doing cross-legged push-ups, which we have done before. It's a very simple push-up variation. So let's just start by reviewing the proper form for our push-ups. So if you are doing knee push-ups, then you want your body to be in a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. That's basically all there is to a push-up, because once you have found that position, nothing's gonna move, okay? So in order to accomplish that, you're going to start by placing your hands on the mat directly underneath your shoulders. And you wanna spread out all 10 fingers, okay? So then you're going to step your feet back so that you're in a plank position. And from right here, you're just going to place your knees on the mat. And this is your starting position. So there are 3 things that you need to check off to make sure that you are doing before you begin your push-ups. Number 1, make sure that your head is in line with your spine. So you don't want your head down here. Don't allow your head to drop down towards the mat. You do not need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out towards the wall. You just want your head in a nice neutral position in line with your spine. So it's like you are standing with your back up against the wall, and you're just kind of lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall. That is where your head should be, perfectly straight up and down in line with your spine. And once it's there, make sure it doesn't move. A lot of people tend to kind of bob their head up and down as they're doing their push-ups. So be aware that once your head is in line with your spine, you don't want it to move, okay? It should stay in line with your spine the whole time. So spread out the fingers, hands directly underneath the shoulders. Step the feet back, put the knees down. Check to make sure that your head is in line with your spine, and check to make sure that you are not sinking down into your shoulders like this. This is another very common mistake, but we don't want our shoulders hunched up by the ears. We want shoulders away from the ears. So the way to fix that, again, make sure all 10 fingers are spread out, and then you're going to press the ground away from you and really push yourself up as high as you can. Okay, so actively visualize trying to press the ground away from you so that you go from here to here. All right, and then the last thing is that you want to make sure that your back is flat. It's another very common mistake that people will allow their hips or their belly to kind of droop down towards the mat like this, but that is causing an arch in my back. We don't want an arched back, we want a flat back. The solution to this is to tighten up your abs. So again, just like we did for our squats and our lunges, it's like, and for our abs, really, your abs never get a break with these workouts, I'm telling you. You should always have your core engaged. But for your push-ups, what you really want to do is tighten up your abs, like again, someone's about to punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for impact. You want your abs to be seriously strong and tight and engaged. And then you're going to use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high, because again, remember, once we found this position where everything's in one straight line from our knees to our shoulders, nothing moves. So once you've got your hips lifted nice and high, you're gonna keep your abs tight, you're gonna keep your hips lifted high, and you're gonna keep your back flat. So from here, all you're going to do is bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So lower your chest down to the mat and then press the mat away. So again, we're going to talk about goal versus objective. Your goal is to get your chest all the way down to the mat, but that's a goal. You may not be there today, and that's fine. As long as you are doing the exercise with the correct form, if you stay consistent, you will eventually build up enough strength, enough upper body strength, enough core strength that you will meet that goal. of getting your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. But if you're not there today, that's fine. The solution is just to shorten up your range of motion. You're bringing your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So if you can only get your chest this close to the mat without lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat, or without lowering your forehead down to the mat, then just shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only come down this far without breaking that straight line from your heels or your knees to your shoulders, then this is your push-up. You're gonna stop here as soon as you've gotten your chest as close to the mat as you can, and then you're going to press the ground away from you. Push yourself back up as high as you can and return to your starting position, and that's your push-up, okay? So the main thing that I want you to remember, head in line with the spine and keep it still. Keep your head still, okay? Shoulders away from the ears, so spread out those fingers and press the ground away from you. Push yourself up as high as you can and flat back. So tighten up your abs, use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high, making sure that your back stays flat the entire time and you never break that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, all right? If you are doing push-ups from your toes, it's the exact same exercise. Literally the only difference is that instead of your straight line being from your knees to your shoulders, your straight line is going to be from your heels to your shoulders. So it's the exact same exercise. Spread out the fingers. Place your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Step your feet back so that you're in a plank position, and make sure that your head is in line with your spine. It's not dropping down towards the mat like this. You're not overcorrecting and hyperextending your neck. Head is in line with the spine. You're not sinking into your shoulders like this. You're spreading out those fingers, pushing the ground away from you, and pushing yourself up nice and high so that your shoulders are away from your ears. And you're making sure that your abs are super strong and tight and engaged, and your back is flat. So your hips and your belly are not sinking down towards the mat like this. You're tightening up your abs, using your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them high. Now, if your hips are slightly elevated like this, that's not the worst thing in the world, because in this position, my back is still flat. So if you find that your hips are slightly elevated, I want you to be aware of it, and I want you to work towards correcting it, but don't worry about it too much. You're not going to hurt yourself doing the push-ups that way, and it will actually make the push-ups a little bit easier. It's not ideal, and it's something you want to work towards correcting, but it's okay. It's okay if that's what you need to do for today to make the push-ups more manageable, all right? The main thing is that you want to avoid the opposite of that, which is an arched back, allowing your hips or your belly to droop down, okay? So this, hips slightly elevated but back flat, is not the end of the world. This needs to be addressed immediately, and this is ideal. This is what you're going for. You want your body to be in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. And then once you have found that beautiful, perfect plank position, and your body is in one gorgeous straight line, make sure nothing moves. Make sure you maintain that position in your body the entire time. So literally think of your body as a plank of wood. And you're just, this is your body, this is your plank of wood, you're just lowering it down towards the mat and then pressing it back up. But this doesn't move, okay? It's just a moving plank. The only thing that's moving is your elbows. You're gonna bend your elbows and lower your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. So if you are unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, that's fine. Just shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only get your chest this close to the mat, then that's fine. Press the mat away from you, and that's your push-up. So shortening up your range of motion is absolutely fine. If you're unable to get your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, that's one of two options, okay? Shorten up your range of motion. The other option is to put your knees down and start doing knee push-ups. But here's what's not an option. If you are unable to get your chest all the way down towards the mat, then I don't want you to compensate for the fact that you're not getting your chest all the way down to the mat by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat. Because when you do that, it's causing your back to arch. And remember, we want to keep a nice flat back the entire time. Another really, really common mistake, if you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, what so many people will do is lower their forehead down to the mat like this. We don't want to do that. That is such a common mistake. So if you find yourself doing it, don't beat yourself up. I think so many times people are doing this and they don't even realize they're doing it. It is done on a subconscious level because you're just trying so hard to get all the way down. So if you can't get your chest all the way down, the temptation, of course, is going to be to lower your forehead down, because if I tap the mat with my forehead, then I guess I got all the way down. So it's a way of kind of tricking yourself into thinking that you're getting all the way down. But remember, that's not the objective. It's your goal to be able to get all the way down with your chest, and your chest only, not your forehead. But your objective is to keep your head in line with your spine, keep your shoulders away from your ears, keep your abs tight, keep your hips lifted high, keep your back flat, okay? So as long as you are minding your form, it doesn't matter whether or not you're able to get your chest all the way down to the mat. So I always recommend recording yourself doing a few reps of push-ups, because a lot of times you may be committing one or more of these mistakes without even realizing it. So it's really helpful to be able to see yourself doing a few reps of push-ups to see if you're allowing your head to kind of bob up and down, or to see if you're sinking into your shoulders, or if you're allowing your hips or your belly to droop down like this, to see if your hips are slightly elevated while you're doing the push-ups, or if you're managing to get your body in one perfect straight line from your heels to your shoulders. Okay, and then once you see the mistakes that you're committing, it's much easier to address those because you know how to address them and how to fix them. All right, so most importantly, just do your best, but please make sure that you're minding your form regardless of whichever push-up variation you choose. And remember that any push-up variation you want to do is fine. So any push-up variation from your toes. If you are a beginner, just remember that not all beginners are automatically going to be at the same level just because they're beginners. So again, work to your own level. Don't push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do, but also don't sell yourself short. Don't assume that you cannot do push-ups from your toes just because you're a beginner. You might not have enough strength to do all 40 push-ups from your toes, but maybe you can do 10 or 5 or 1. Okay, so don't be afraid to just try a push-up from your toes. You might surprise yourself. Just be smart, be safe, listen to your body. Please make sure that you are working to your own level. Don't push your body into doing anything it's not ready to do, but you know, challenge yourself a little bit, okay? So any push-up variation you want to do is fine, either from your toes or from your knees, or if you want to start on your toes and then put your knees down, that's great. I am going to be doing cross-leg push-ups, and we have done these before. It's a super simple push-up variation. I'm actually going to show you from this angle because I think you'll be able to see what I'm doing a little better. So starting in my plank position, I'm going to place my hands directly underneath my shoulders, step my feet back so that I'm in a plank position. But before I begin, I'm actually going to start with my feet a bit wider apart, okay? This is my starting position. And then from here, I'm going to pick up one foot. I'm going to bring this leg across my body, and I'm going to stack the ankles. So I'm stacking one ankle on top of the other, and I'm going to do my push-up from this position. Then I'm going to pick up this foot that's on top, put it back, and return to my starting position, and then I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So now I'm going to pick up the opposite foot, bring the leg across my body, and stack the ankles. Do my push-up from this position. Then return to my starting position. All right, super simple modification. It's challenging, but it's simple. All I'm doing is stacking the ankles to one side and alternating sides with each rep as I do the push-up, okay? So that is my push-up variation. Obviously, you can't do that from your knees. So if you're doing knee push-ups, Just do any version of knee push-ups you want, okay? And if you cannot get down on the mat for push-ups, if it hurts your knees, first of all, let me remind you that elevating your hands will make it easier. So if you were using a chair for support or some other strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface for support, you can always do knee push-ups with your hands elevated on a chair or a bar stool or an ottoman or the arm of your couch, okay? As long as whatever you're using for your elevated surface is strong enough to support your body weight, sturdy enough that it won't collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and stable enough so that it can't slide from underneath you, then you can absolutely do knee push-ups with your hands elevated, and it will make them a bit easier. But you may have the upper body strength and the core strength to do that. The thing that may prevent you from being able to do it is your knees, because it does cause a bit more stress on your knees. Because the higher you elevate your hands, the more upright your body is, which means that because of gravity, the more of your own body weight is having to be supported by your knees. So it's more stress on your knees. Now, the fix may be as easy as just doubling over your mat a couple of times so that you have a little bit of added protection for your knees. You could also grab like a throw pillow or a seat cushion, but that is definitely something to consider if you have the core strength and the upper body strength to do the push-ups from your knees, either with your hands elevated or with your hands on the mat. But the reason you can't do knee push-ups is because it hurts your knees. It might be as simple as just having a little bit more protection for your knees. So that's something to think about. But if you absolutely cannot get down onto the mat, if you cannot get down onto the mat for abs and you cannot get down onto your knees for push-ups, you have other options, okay? So we went over wall push-ups yesterday. I'm not going to go over to the wall to demonstrate and explain how to do wall push-ups. So if you need to see wall push-ups demonstrated and explained in detail, please watch yesterday's tutorial. I went over wall push-ups at the very, very beginning of the tutorial of yesterday's workout. I will link yesterday's workout up here in the iCard. So if you need to see what wall push-ups look like, please check out yesterday's video, the tutorial right in the beginning of the tutorial to see that. But just remember that you can always do push-ups from a standing position. So you can have your hands elevated on the arm of your couch or your kitchen counter, okay? Something like that. It's the same exercise, okay? As long as your body's in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders and nothing is moving, then you can have your hands elevated as high as you want and even right on the wall, okay? So if you need to do wall push-ups or any other standing variation of push-ups, that is an option so that you don't have to get down onto the mat and you don't have to put any pressure on your knees. If you cannot get down onto the mat for abs, remember you also have our standing ab exercise that I show you just about every day. So you can place your hand on the wall or the arm of your couch or your strong, sturdy, stable chair or bar stool, whatever elevated surface you are using for support, and then just extend the opposite leg out to the side. Take your free hand and place it behind your head, and then all you're going to do is lift your leg, bend the knee, and as you do that, you're going to crunch down, bringing your elbow towards your knee. As close as you can get it. Your goal is to actually touch your knee, your elbow to your knee, but if you're not there yet, that's fine. Work to your own level. So if you can only come here, then just be here, okay? Do your best. You just want to make sure you're feeling that crunch in your obliques. Just remember, if you do that exercise, to make sure you end up even on both sides. So let's say you go through the circuit once on this side, make sure the next time through the circuit you switch sides. Okay, so that's it. That's all for exercises, and I've already explained the format. So if you have any questions about the exercises that we're doing for today's workout, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, I am right here to help. So please just ask. It's incredibly important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout so that you reduce your risk of injury and just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So Don't hesitate to ask questions if you have them. Please make sure that you understand the movement, you understand what it is that you're asking your body to do before you begin the workout. And you guys know it is also incredibly important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I'm always here to help facilitate that. And especially so for this challenge this year. So do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. If you are planning on working out along with the video especially, please remember to make sure that you are going at your own pace and that you're minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. Yes, the point is to get through the push-ups as quickly as possible, but the point is to get through the push-ups as quickly as possible with good form. If you're able to get through your push-ups faster than I am, that's great, as long as you're not sacrificing your form to get there. And the point is, with that remaining time after you've completed your push-ups, the point is to complete as many rounds as possible of our squats, lunges, and abs circuit. But again, goals versus objective. The goal is to complete as many rounds of the circuit as possible with the time remaining of our 15 minutes, but the objective is to mind our form, to complete those reps with good form. So if you're faster than I am, great. Be faster than I am, just make sure you're not sacrificing your form to get there. If you're slower than I am, great. Be slower than I am. Be where you are, okay? If you fall behind, that's fine. Just work at your own pace, okay? The main thing is that you don't want to sacrifice your form for speed. So go as fast as you can. Push yourself to keep moving. Push yourself to take as few rest breaks as possible. But if you need to pause and rest, pause and rest. Your rest break should be as long as you need. So I'm definitely not going to be able to get through all 40 push-ups without stopping to rest. I'm going to pause and rest where I need to. I will challenge myself to keep my rest breaks as short as I can, but I'm only going to resume the workout when I feel that I have regained enough strength and that I have enough stamina to continue with good form. So if you find yourself just racing through the exercises because you're just trying to go really, really fast for the sake of going fast, just to say you got as many reps done as you possibly could, but your form is getting sloppy, then that means you need to slow down, okay? The main objective is to mind your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed, and just make sure that you are listening to your body. Do not push your body into doing anything it is not ready to do. So make sure you're working to your own level. Please be smart, be safe. Listen to your body. I hope I have covered everything. If you are ready to go ahead and start this workout, then you are going to want to grab something soft like a yoga mat or an exercise mat. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you are working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything, but again, you'll be more soft with something, or more comfortable with something soft beneath you. So definitely grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If you are doing any variation of knee push-ups, you may want a little added protection for your knees. So if you have a throw pillow or a seat cushion, those would be great options. Or if you have those little like pads that you kneel on, like for gardening, anything to give your knees a little bit of additional support. And again, you might even be able to just double up your mat a couple of times, maybe even a towel. So if you need a little bit of added protection for your knees, get that ready as well. If you need to hold on to a chair or a bar stool or some other elevated surface for support for any of these exercises, go ahead and get that ready as well. Just again, please make sure that your chair or your stool or whatever you are using for support is strong enough to hold your entire body weight. Make sure that it is sturdy enough that it can't collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and make sure it is stable so that it will not slide from underneath you when you put weight on it. And then you can pause the video, go get dressed, meet me right back here. We're going to do a quick 5-minute warm up and then we'll get our reps done together. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. You're going to place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. So make sure your shoulders are relaxed You're not pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head and allowing gravity to do all of the work of gently stretching the other side of your neck. Other side, so now that your head falls towards the opposite shoulder, place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your shoulders are nice and relaxed. So if you find your shoulder creeping up here, make sure you push it down, shoulders are away from the ears. Now we're gonna roll the head to the other side. So let go with your hand, you're gonna let your chin fall towards your chest and roll the head to the other side and back. And with each roll, you wanna start feeling your head getting heavier and heavier. Your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. And you're increasing your range of motion every time you swing. Now, shoulder rolls. So start making big, big circles with your shoulders. Really exaggerate the movement, explore your full range of motion. Next, we're doing arm circles, but we're going to start small. So you're going to extend your arms out to the side and you're going to start by making small circles. But gradually, as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally, again, you're exploring your full range of motion and making the circles as big as you can. Now you're gonna step your feet wide apart, wider than shoulder width apart. Bend the knees, sweep the hands down in front of you, and as you straighten your legs, you're gonna reach your arms up above. And each time you bend your knees, you're gonna start expanding your range of motion little by little, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Keep the feet planted, and we're just gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy. And now add the arms. So with each lunge, you're reaching your arm across your body. Really swing the arm like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now step the feet in and march. Start with the knees low, and then little by little, as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you possibly can. Feel a nice little stretch in your glutes. And now we're gonna do the same thing with a jog. So starting with a nice light jog, knees low, but little by little, as the interval progresses, you're going to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest. And now our booty kicks. So it's still a nice light jog, but with each step, you are bringing your foot behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. Now for this next one, you might need to hold on to a chair or the wall for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. You're going to transfer your weight into one leg, pick up the other foot, and just swing the leg front and back, nice and loose. We're gonna switch sides. So put this foot down, pick up the other foot, and swing the leg. In front of you, swing it behind you. You can start low, and then little by little, start expanding your range of motion, kicking that leg higher and higher. Now you're going to switch feet again. So put this foot down, extend the other leg out in front of you, and keeping your foot low to the ground, you're just gonna make a little semicircle. Bringing that foot around and behind you. And with each semicircle, you're gonna start lifting that leg higher and higher until finally you're gonna drive the knee up in front of you and kind of guide it around with your hand. Other side. So extend the leg out in front of you and draw a semicircle, bringing the leg around and behind you, lifting the leg a little higher with each rep, and then finally drive the knee up in front of you, guiding it around with your hand. So finally, we're gonna do a quick hamstring stretch. So if you want to use the wall or your chair, stool, the arm of your couch, it's going to make getting into this stretch a little bit easier and a little bit more comfortable, because you want to keep your back flat as you're doing this hamstring stretch. If you allow your back to round, it's not going to hurt you, but if you can manage to keep your back as flat as possible, it's really going to intensify that stretch in your hamstrings. That's our 5 minutes, but you guys know I always like to spend a few extra seconds in this hamstring stretch because the backs of my legs are super tight. So you don't need to use the wall or a chair or anything, but it just makes it easier and more comfortable to get into that stretch. Makes it easier to keep your back flat. And since we're only in this stretch for a few seconds, you really want to maximize the effectiveness by flattening your back to isolate those hamstrings a little more. All right, but that's it. That's our 5 minute plus warm up. All right, so as soon as you're ready, my timer is set to count down 15 minutes for us, but before our 15 minutes begins, I have programmed a 10-second rest interval just so that we have a few seconds to get ready and we don't lose anything off of that 15-minute work interval while we're getting ready to start our first push-up. So 15-minute countdown, you're going to start with a push-up buy-in, 40 reps of push-ups. Any push-up variation you want to do is fine, and then with the time remaining, we're going to complete as many rounds as possible of our squats, lunges, and abs circuit. Okay, so as soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1. This is a 10-second rest interval. So get ready. We're starting with 40 push-ups. I'm doing cross-legged push-ups. You do any push-up variation you want. So cross the ankles, push up. Other side, cross the ankles and do a push up. That's 20 for me. I have to do another 20. But I need to pause and rest for a minute. I know I'm not going to be able to do another 20 unbroken, so I'm going to see if I can do 10 more before I have to pause again. Don't rest if you don't need to. When you're ready, let's try for another 10 without stopping if we can. That's 30 for me. Just have to do another 10. And then push-ups are done. I don't want to rest too long, so I may not be able to do 10 more without stopping, but I'm going to see if I can at least do 6, hopefully, and take a quick rest and finish up with my final 4. Just do your best. That's 36. Try to keep this rest the shortest one yet, since I'm only recovering from a set of 6 instead of a set of 20 or 10, and I only have to do 4 more. 37, 38, 39, last one, 40. Okay, I have just over 11 minutes left. So now what we're gonna do is start on our circuit. Squats, lunges, and abs. We're gonna complete as many rounds as possible of the circuit as we can before time is up. Hopefully I can do at least 5. So starting with mini squat pulses. You're gonna squat and pulse. 2, 3, 4. We're going to 40, do your best. It's 30. 35, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 40. Shake it out. As soon as you can, 40 side jump lunges, or whatever lunge variation you're doing. So starting in your side lunge position, you're gonna jump and switch the position of your feet. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to 40. Do your best. Bicycles. You do any ab exercise you want. 40 reps. So hands crossed behind the head. Lift your shoulder blades. Lift your legs. Crunch the knee in and twist, bringing knee to elbow. 6, 7, 8. We're going to 40. Do your best. It's 30. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 40. So that's one round of our circuit. I have just under 8 minutes left. I need to pick up the pace if I want to complete 4 more rounds. So I'm gonna zip it. Just do your best as soon as you're ready. Starting at the top again with 40 mini squat pulses. Side jump lunges. That was 40. I hope. Felt like 40. 40 bicycles. Do your best to keep moving. Rest if you need to. That's 2 rounds. Just over 5 minutes left. Let's keep going. Round 3. Round 3. Round 4. It's 20. 30. 40. 10. 20. 30. It's round 4. Let's start round 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's time. Now, I wanted to complete 5 rounds. I managed to complete 4 full rounds plus 12 mini squats. That's my official score. But I want to go ahead and finish this 5th round. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. But I'm resetting my timer as a stopwatch. And I'm going to resume this 5th round, see it through to the end. I've completed 12 mini squats. So I'm picking up my count at 12, starting my timer at 3, 2, 1, and go. So that's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25, 30, 35, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 40. Side jump lunges. That's 40. That's 40, and that's round 5. Get up. I know that was a tough workout, and it was super intense. And your heart rate should be quite elevated. You should be out of breath. So it's really important that you resist the urge to just collapse on your mat, okay? You have to make yourself get up and just pace around a little. Just gonna do a little cool down. It doesn't have to be anything super structured. The only important thing is just that you keep your body moving, keep your circulation going while you allow your breathing to normalize and while you allow your heart rate to come back down. So just pacing back and forth is absolutely fine. Shake out the arms. Shake out the legs. And stretch the shoulders. your body and use your other arm to pull it in towards your chest, making sure that the arm that's stretching and the shoulder that's stretching are completely relaxed. Your muscle is not going to be flexible so that you can actually stretch it and get something out of the stretch unless it is relaxed. If your muscle's tense, then the stretch isn't going to do anything. So relax the shoulders, relax the arm that's stretching. The other arm is doing all the work. So other side, bring the other arm across your body. Use the opposite arm to pull it in towards your chest, making sure that your straight arm is completely relaxed. The arm that's bent is doing all the work, and make sure this shoulder that's stretching is completely relaxed. Really feel that nice stretch. Should feel really good after all those push-ups. Swing out the arms. And do a quick tricep stretch. Make sure you're taking nice, big, deep breaths this whole time that we're moving and stretching. You're trying to encourage your breathing to normalize, trying to allow your heart rate to come back down. So you're just bending one elbow, placing your other hand on your elbow and gently pulling your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Feeling a nice stretch in your triceps. Shake it out. And do the other side. So bend to the opposite arm. Place your hand on your elbow and just gently pull this elbow towards the opposite shoulder. And as you do that, make sure that your free hand is relaxed and pointing straight down to the ground. So you don't want this hand hanging out up here somewhere. You want it pointing in a straight line down to the ground from your elbow, nice and relaxed. Nice. Swing out the arms. And we'll finish with a little quad stretch. So you may need to hold on to something for support. If your balance is a little off, which it may be, when you get fatigued, it's more difficult to balance, and that was a really intense workout. So even if your balance is usually pretty good, you might find yourself losing your balance during this quad stretch. So hold on to something for support if you need it. Just bringing one foot behind me, and I'm reaching back, grabbing a hold of the top of my foot with both hands, and just gently pressing that heel into my booty cheek. So let's switch legs. Pick up the other foot, bring it behind you, reach back, grab the top of your foot with both hands, and press your heel into your booty cheek. And while you're doing that, make sure that you are tilting your pelvis forward. So kind of like tucking your booty underneath you and sucking your belly button back towards your spine. While you do that, make sure you're continuing to press this heel into your booty cheek. And as soon as you tilt your pelvis forward, tuck your booty underneath, suck that belly button back to your spine, you'll instantly feel that stretch intensify in your quad. All right, so shake out the legs, shake out the hands and the arms, swing the arms, make sure those shoulders are nice and loose, and stretch the feet a little bit. And if you feel that your breathing has not yet normalized and your heart rate is still elevated and you need a few more minutes for your cool down, absolutely pause the video, continue just pacing around. You can do a little more light stretching, And once you feel that you're nice and cooled down, go ahead and rejoin me. We'll do our bonus burpee together. No workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. So we have just 1 rep left to go. I will be including a push-up with my bonus burpee. You can eliminate the push-up if you want, but the bonus burpee itself is mandatory. So if you are a beginner, let me just walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. You are going to start by standing in the middle of your mat. You're going to bend down and place your hands flat on the mat in front of you, and then you're going to step your feet back one at a time so that you're in a plank position. Now knees down for a push-up if you want to include a push-up. If not, you can eliminate it. Step the feet back in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, and if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you would like to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and just do one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you are ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. All right, with that, the workout is now officially complete. So my official score for today was I managed to complete 4 full rounds plus 12 mini squat pulses. That's my official score because that's what I was able to complete before my 15 minutes was up. However, I reset my timer as a stopwatch because I wanted to finish that 5th round. Whenever I do an AMRAP, that is typically what I'll do. If my timer goes off when I am in the middle of a round, I usually will reset my timer as a stopwatch and see how long it takes me to finish the round I'm on, but that's completely optional. But what that means for me is that the next time I do this workout, I will have 3 different goals. My first goal will be to complete my push-ups faster, meaning that I have more time left for my AMRAP, the AMRAP portion of the workout. My second goal will be to complete more reps before time is up than what I was able to do today. So that would mean the next time I do this workout, I will be aiming to complete at least 4 full rounds of my squats, lunges, and abs circuit, plus at least 13 mini squats into my 5th round. And then my third goal would be to complete my 5th round in less time than what it took me today. So my timer right now says 2 minutes and 22 seconds. I know there was a good 20 seconds or so in between when I completed my 15 minutes and when I started my timer again, but I'm just counting this, okay? This is the number I'm going by. So I'm saying that the next time I do this workout, if I'm unable to complete 5 full rounds of the circuit, I will reset my timer as a stopwatch, and by the time I'm finished with that final rep of abs, I want my timer to say less than 2 minutes and 22 seconds. All right, so that's completely optional though. Whenever your 15 minutes is up, that's your official score and the workout's done, and you've completed more than your required reps to participate in the challenge for today, so you don't have to reset your timer as a stopwatch and complete the round that you're on. That's just the way I usually do AMRAPs. So I just wanted to explain what was going on there and why I kept going after time was up. But my official score for today is I was able to complete 4 full rounds plus 12 mini squat pulses. Of course, the only important thing is just that I got out here and I did the reps. So it doesn't matter how many rounds of the circuit you were able to complete, as long as you got your little booty dressed and you got out here and did this workout with me today, well done, because that was a tough little workout. So now it's really important that you're taking a good 15 or 20 minutes at least to stretch. Right now, immediately after the workout is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to get your stretching done because your muscles are already nice and warm. If you do not have time to stretch right now, that's fine, you can do it later in the day. Just remember that if you put off your stretching until later in the day, your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you're going to have to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin stretching. The same way we warm up our muscles before beginning the workout, it's just as important that you make sure to warm up your muscles before jumping into your stretching routine so that your muscles are more pliable and you're less likely to overstretch or strain a muscle or pull something. So stretch now, stretch later. The only important thing is just that you're getting your stretching done at some point during the day, but don't skip your stretching. Taking the time to stretch every day is going to help alleviate muscle soreness. It is also going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and it's going to improve your flexibility and your mobility, which is important in its own right. So please make sure you're taking the time to stretch every single day. If you are a beginner and you don't know how to stretch, just open up YouTube, just do a search for beginner stretching routine. There's going to be tons of great options. Pick any stretching routine that looks good to you and do it, okay? It doesn't matter what you do for your stretching, it just matters that you're getting it done. I do have a stretching routine that I do every day, so if you'd like that link, please just ask, I'm happy to share it. Before I do my stretching though, I am adding on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. That's why I'm holding Victoria. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with these very pretty light pink metallic handles. And if you would like to know where I got Victoria, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video, so click on the link and use coupon code RUDEBECCA to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. I am going to reset my timer for 40 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. That's 20 minutes. I'm going to get some music going and just get my cardio done. 20 minutes. Then I'll do my stretching, have a shower, eat some lunch, and get on with the rest of my day. The additional cardio is not mandatory. It is not officially part of the challenge. I'm just sharing this with you because I want to be upfront, I want to be transparent and let you know that every year when I do the challenge, this is how I do it. I add on 20 or 30 minutes of moderate paced cardio, more if I can, after each and every workout. So I just want you to know that I'm doing more than just these 160 reps every day. I am relying solely on these 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups every day for my strength training. But I'm adding cardio after every workout because when I do this challenge, especially this year, I am trying so hard to get myself back in shape. I need to lose weight. I very much need to improve my stamina and my endurance, and I want to strengthen my heart and my lungs, improve my cardiovascular health. So the additional cardio really goes a long way towards helping me to accelerate that process. And it always enables me to start seeing results faster. The sooner I can start seeing the results of all my hard work, the sooner I start to notice myself getting stronger, the sooner I start noticing my stamina beginning to improve, the sooner I start noting the weight coming off, it really just encourages me to keep going, and it helps me to stay motivated because I can see that what I'm doing is working, and so it makes me want to continue. Plus, the stronger I get and the more my stamina improves, it means that the workouts themselves become easier. So that also helps me to stay motivated because I know that when I get out here and start doing my reps, it's going to be easier than it was the day before. So that just, it kind of snowballs from there. And the reps are important, okay? Like I said, I'm relying solely on these 160 reps every day for my strength training, but the additional cardio really does help me meet my goals faster, and I'm always a lot happier with my results at the end of the challenge. So if you want to add cardio, it doesn't have to be jump rope. You can go for a jog or even a brisk walk. If you have an exercise bike or a treadmill or an elliptical or something like that, you can hop on one of those for 20-30 minutes, more if you want. If you have access to a heavy bag, you can work on your heavy bag. If you have access to a pool, or if you live by the beach, you can go for a swim. If you live close to hiking trails, take a nice long hike. When I have time, that's my favorite thing to do. So if you live close to hiking trails, definitely take advantage of those. That can be your additional cardio for the day. If you have access to the field at your local high school, you can jog around the track, or you can do up and down the bleachers. If you own a bike, you can take a bike ride, okay? Or it can be an activity that you enjoy. So you could do like a fitness class, or maybe play a couple of sets of tennis. It really can be any moderate paced cardio you want. It doesn't have to be more than 20 or 30 minutes. It can be more if you want, but 20 or 30 minutes of moderate paced cardio is more than sufficient. So I know that we're doing 6 workouts a week, which means that I am doing 6 cardio sessions every single week, and that is a lot. I know that's a lot, and you may not have the physical ability to do 6 cardio sessions a week, or you just may not have time. But if you can even find 2 or 3 days a week to squeeze in a cardio session, I do recommend it. It is not officially part of the challenge. You don't have to do any additional cardio if you don't want to. But if you are able to sneak in 2 or 3 cardio sessions a week, I really think that it is going to help you start seeing results faster, and I know you're going to be happier with your results at the end of the challenge. So one more time, just to recap, the additional cardio is not mandatory. It is not required. It is not technically officially part of the challenge, but it is strongly recommended, and I'm doing it, so I just wanted to be upfront with you about that. But whether or not you are doing cardio today, our 161 reps and then some are complete for the day. You guys, I actually ended up doing, did 5 rounds of the circuit, so that means that today I didn't just do 161 reps. I did 200 mini squat pulses, I did 200 side jump lunges, 200 reps of bicycles, and 40 push-ups plus my bonus burpee. So that means that I didn't just do 161 reps today, I actually did 641 reps in just over 17 minutes. So that was a really intense workout that we did today. Well done. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately, and even if you're not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to everyone who is doing the challenge with me. If you're not doing the challenge, please remember that it is not too late to join. It is never too late to join. You can jump in and start today, that's fine. But if you do want to go back to the beginning and start on day 1 of the challenge, that is recommended. Save the playlist, watch that day 1 video so that you understand what the challenge is all about and how to participate. And then when you are ready to begin, just remember to start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. Any random Wednesday will do. So just start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, and from there, all you have to do is follow along with the playlist and everything will fall into place. I have made it super easy to follow along, but of course, please remember that I am right here. I'm not only doing the challenge right along with you, I'm not only working out with you every day, but I am also here to help. So I'm here to answer questions and provide guidance. I am here to support you and encourage you and help motivate you. So do not hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. I also need to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format of today's workout and how it all fits together, I know this format is new. We haven't done anything like this before. So please ask questions if you have them. If you have questions about the exercises that we were doing for today's workout, if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, I am right here to help. So please just ask. And that is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 34. Bye.